I'm Akari. I got married a year ago. We didn't have kids yet, so we both work full-time. But recently, I was under a lot of stress. It was my husband, Kageru.
What is this crap? I can't eat this! You're a terrible chef!
I'm sorry, I tried my best.
You can't cook for crap!
He said this to me almost every day. I read recipe books and went to cooking school, but it was no use. He always criticized my cooking. But he always ate everything, saying that he was hungry. What the hell? And his mother came over for dinner once a week. This was a nightmare.
Akari, what is this? You're feeding this crap to my son?
Is it that bad?
Yeah, it's disgusting. What, you got something to say?
Nothing. At first, I thought there was something wrong with my taste buds or something. So I cooked for my friend once to see if I can get some advice, but then... This is good! Really? Yeah, this is delicious. My friend was a pretty good chef, so then I started to think, maybe there was something wrong with them. So one day, I came up with a plan. Here you go, I think you're gonna like this, I said to them. But as predicted...
Ugh, gross!
I can't eat this, what's wrong with you?
I know, right? There's definitely something wrong with her. Mom, you should teach her how to cook.
What? No way! Once a week was enough. But, I work during the day, so you'd have to come at night.
Fine by me. Just get home as soon as possible.
But, I usually work overtime. I got a lot of work to do. But then...
Just tell me whoever's in charge to do it for you.
I'm the one in charge.
What? You? How's that even possible?
What does that mean?
I mean, you can't even cook. How can you be in charge of anything?
How's that relevant? And I'm not a bad cook, it's you two.
Huh?
You're blaming us now?
To which I said, well, the thing is, I didn't even make these. I got these from the deli.
What?
Huh?
So there's no way it tastes bad.
You tricked us?
I cooked for my friend the other day. She said my cooking was fine, so I knew something was up. I got him now. It was time to strike back. A few moments later, my husband started talking.
Our taste buds are fine.
What does that mean?
I said all those things on purpose. I didn't want you to get carried away.
So he was criticizing my cooking on purpose, so I wouldn't get carried away? Apparently his mom told him to do so. I didn't even know what to say anymore. What? What does that even mean?
I was doing this for you. I wanted you to get better at it. If anything, you should be thanking me.
Screw you! I grabbed the table and threw it across the room. I guess they didn't see that coming. They just sat there in silence. I got my stuff and headed to my parents' house. My husband called me every day, begging me to come back.
Please, come back! I'm sorry, I really am!
Don't ever call me again. I refused to go home. Our marriage was over, and I was really busy with work. I was exhausted. I didn't have time for this. Screw them. I'm done with them. Sign them, now!
Look, I've always loved your cooking.
It's too late for that. You know how much stress I was under?
Sorry.
Your apology doesn't mean anything. I started losing hair because of this. I actually started seeing a shrink a few months ago. I felt so stupid. I feel like such an idiot. I wanted him out of my life. I just wanted this to be over. So I hired a lawyer and divorced his ass. A few years later, I ran into him at a family gathering. The thing is, we were distant relatives, so I still had to see him once in a while. The women cooked for everyone, but my ex-husband and his mom weren't allowed to eat. He said my cooking was terrible. That's why he divorced me.
What? But this is delicious.
Well, apparently it wasn't good enough for them, I said in a really loud voice. So I guess they can't eat any of this. I made most of it, so...
I'm hungry.
During the divorce proceedings, he said to his lawyer,
She was a terrible cook. I was just stating facts. But you said you were saying that on purpose.
He was starving. He came up to me and begged me for some food.
Look, I had no choice. I'm really sorry.
All my relatives thought I was a terrible cook, but now they knew it was a lie. A few minutes later, everyone gathered around the table and started eating. Well, everyone except my ex-husband and his mother, of course. Good riddance.
I'm Taichi. I have a wife and a daughter. I had a good job and a loving family. Life was good. But there was one thing that was on my mind. My wife, Sanae. She always cooked for me, but...
Mom, I want seconds!
Huh? We're all out of rice.
She was a good chef. Her food was delicious, but she only made a little. It wasn't enough. I think I saw some frozen rice in the fridge. I'll go check.
Huh?
Found it!
Yay!
Our daughter, Rika, was in elementary school. She was still growing, so she needed to eat, but...
You're eating so much. You're scaring me.
Not sure why. She didn't like it when we got seconds.
You think Rika is okay? She's eating way too much. You're a grown man, but she's just a little girl.
I don't think it's good for her.
She seemed really worried. Was she worried about her growing up to be fat or something? I had no idea. Sanae didn't eat much. That night we had fried chicken. Rika and I each got 6, but Sanae was full after 3. Rika said she wanted more, so I gave her one of mine.
I want to let her eat as much as she can, but I don't know if that's the right thing to do.
Also, she didn't like the idea of meal prep and leftovers. Why don't you make some pre-made meals on the weekend and feed it to Rika whenever she wants more?
What? You want to feed her leftovers?
She never said yes. So we were always kind of hungry after each meal. We munched on snacks to fill the void. And when I asked the other parents about this...
They're still kids. They have to eat.
My kid eats a lot, but she's really skinny. Don't worry.
I knew it! I don't think there's anything wrong with me or Rika. Then one day...
I'm gonna make some hamburger steaks. Can you go buy some mincemeat for me?
Really? You hear that, Dad? Yay!
I was surprised to hear that. Maybe she finally changed her mind. So we went to the store and got a pound of minced meat. She made 7 hamburger steaks. Rika and I each got 3. She got 1.
Wow, there are so many!
Yup, glad you like it. Eat up.
Rika seemed really happy, but after finishing the first one, she started to slow down. And for some reason, this upset Sanae.
Are you full? If so, you may be excused.
She said to her. But then...
No, I'm gonna give the last one to Dad!
Me?
Why would you do that? I made this for you.
So what? I wanna give one to Dad! Leave me alone!
They started fighting. Settle down, you two. We're gonna go get some fresh air. I decided to take her out on a quick drive.
I thought you would get 4, and 2 for me, 1 for Mom. You always give me your food, so I wanted to return the favor.
So that's why she said all those things. Thanks, Rika, but it's okay. You can eat as much as you like. But then she started crying.
But when Mom was making dinner, she was saying...
Look at all this meat. Ugh, what if they can't finish it?
She looked really upset. Is there something wrong with me? But I'm not fat or anything. She asked my teacher this was normal in parent-teacher conference.
She did what? Then I remembered something. Her grandma. I met her once when I went to her parents' house.
She barely eats, and she can't stand leftovers. She's a stubborn one. Good luck. You're gonna need it.
Sanae didn't get along with her grandma for some reason. And I didn't like her either. I only met her once, so I kind of forgot about her. But maybe she's got something to do with this. Sanae lost her mother when she was young. She always ate with her grandma. Maybe that's why she's acting like this. Rika, listen. I'm gonna talk to Mom, okay? But she's trying to figure this out too.
Yeah, but she eats so little.
Yeah, I know. We should go talk to her. She just worries too much, that's all.
Yeah, I shouldn't have yelled at her like that. Let's go back.
Yeah, let's hear what she has to say. As soon as we got home, Sanae ran towards us and hugged Rika.
Rika, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have yelled like that.
I'm sorry too, Mom.
Then Rika fell asleep. We went into the living room to talk.
Never ate leftovers. I got a stomachache, so I thought it was like that for everyone.
If you keep it in the fridge, it's fine.
You sure? But my grandma...
I'm sure. The hamburger steaks. Let's save them for breakfast. Rika would love that. And don't worry about your grandma. She's not here anymore. Sanae started crying.
My grandma. All the things she said to me when I was growing up. It really got to me. But I was wrong. There must be something wrong with me.
There's nothing wrong with you. Some people eat a lot, some don't. And that's perfectly normal. But we shouldn't force our values on each other. We just have to get used to it.
Taichi. It might take some time, but I'll try. For Rika.
Don't worry. She's a good girl. I'll cook with you if you want. We're a family. We'll figure this out together.
Yeah.
At first I thought she was worrying too much. I was kinda annoyed by it. And I hated seeing my daughter go hungry. But now I felt much better about everything. I was really glad we had this talk.
So, how much rice do you guys want?
A lot!
Okay, you sure?
Yeah, Mom, I'm starving.
So we went back to being a happy family. Glad everything worked out.
I'm Sachiko. I couldn't stand my mother-in-law. Just the other day, she came over to my house unannounced. I invited her in for some tea, but...
This tastes awful. You're so useless.
she said to me. Then,
I'm hungry. Makes me something to eat.
she told me to make her something to eat.
This is disgusting. You're a terrible housewife.
She was so abusive. I was getting used to this, though. Yeah, you're right. I'm a terrible housewife. Sorry. I didn't even feel like arguing. I just wanted her to leave, but then... she picked up the plate and tossed it in the trash. How can she waste food like that? What are you doing? I raised my voice at her for the first time.
Relax.
She didn't seem to care, though. Unbelievable. Then she kept going.
Stop walking so loudly. Your posture is terrible. Where are your table manners?
I was starting to lose it. She was causing me a lot of stress. Every time she came over, I got a stomach ache. Hey, I'm not feeling well. I'm gonna go to bed. A few days later, she came over to the house again. I decided to go to bed early. Masato, who just came back from work, seemed worried about me.
Sachiko? What's the matter? You okay?
I never told him about his mother. I didn't want to worry him. But I couldn't take it anymore. It's about your mother. I decided to tell him everything.
I'm so sorry. I had no idea.
He seemed really upset, but he listened to my every word.
I'll talk to my mom. It won't happen again.
But if she finds out I told on you, it might make things worse. We sat in silence for a while. Then, Masato said something unexpected.
The other day, I saw her out in the city. I'm pretty sure it was her. She was dressed up all nicely and stuff. She was in some car I've never seen before. I thought she was working, so I wasn't sure if it was really her, but...
Wait, you mean... I wasn't sure if I should say it, but...
It's possible.
Masato nodded. He was thinking the same thing.
I'm gonna look into it. Maybe we can use it against her.
Okay, thanks. I was glad he was on my side. A month later, I got a call from my mother-in-law. One of her relatives had passed away. Masato was at work, so I picked up the phone.
Make sure to tell Masato, okay? Are you gonna attend the funeral, Sachiko?
I don't really want to, but I should probably be there. Yeah.
Oh, you're coming? Okay.
What does that mean? Yeah, of course, I want to help out, I said to her.
Whatever. Bye.
Then she just hung up on me. I hated her so much. I can't stand her. But wait, maybe this is our chance to strike. A few days later.
Welcome.
Masato's mom said to me with a smirk on her face. I had a bad feeling about this, but I didn't say anything. The funeral went on as planned. At lunch, they ordered sushi for all the guests, but... What the? My table was empty. Looks like she didn't order any for me. Everyone was staring at me. It was really awkward.
Where's Sachiko's plate?
Masato yelled at his mother for me.
Huh? Oh, sorry. I didn't know she was coming.
She said to him.
If you want to eat, you're gonna have to beg me for it.
Ugh. I didn't know what to say to her. I looked over at Masato. He nodded in silence. It was time to strike back. I glared at her and said, "So, do you act like this in front of him as well?" I grabbed some pictures from my bag and threw them up in the air. It was a picture of her with her boyfriend.
What the? Stop!
Whoa!
Are you cheating on your husband? Everyone started talking.
No, stop! Please stop!
She started to panic. She tried to pick up the pictures off the floor. You want the pictures? Go ahead. I still got plenty of copies. I said to her with a big smile on her face. She gasped.
Hey.
My father-in-law was glaring at her. He looked furious.
It's not what it looks like!
You're gonna pay for this.
Then he left.
Stop! Wait! It's not what it looks like! Wait!
She started screaming. Masato tapped me on my shoulder.
Nicely done!
Turns out she was cheating on her husband for a while now. Her boyfriend was still in his 20s.
She paid for everything too. And when she ran out of money, she used my dad's credit card without telling him. She's unbelievable.
We had more than enough evidence. We were just waiting for the perfect time to strike. I hesitated at first because I didn't want to crash someone's funeral, but Masato told me it was okay.
She's dead to me now. You don't have to feel bad about anything.
He said to me on her way home. Her husband divorced her right afterwards. He threw her out of the house. She went to go stay with her sister after that. And her boyfriend ran off. His parents paid for all the damages on his behalf, but no one ever saw him again. So now she was all alone. Her sister was the only one that would take her in.
Her sister is really strict. I would never want to live with her.
Things weren't looking good for her. I felt much better now that she was gone.
Glad she's out of our lives. I want her nowhere near my baby.
Yeah, I think it's for the best. I was pregnant now. The baby was due any day. Can't wait. My boyfriend suddenly whacked my head. He hit me like a Tsukomi in a manzai. Huh? What? Was there a bug on me? I never even been hit by my parents. Ow!
It's 'cause you say the dumbest things.
He even replied, giving me a cold stare.
Manzai, a two-man comedy act where the Tsukomi reacts to the bokeh's jokes, sometimes by whacking the bokeh. Man, sorry guys, she's very slow.
You're going to apologize to your friends instead of me?
Ah, I see that. She does give off that vibe. Sucks for you, though. The more she opens her mouth, the dumber she sounds.
Ouch! Next, he hit me on the forehead, and not in a cute, playful way either. It was with a force that could pierce through a rock.
Stop pouting, ugly! Being a grouch in front of your boyfriend's buddies. Looks like someone wasn't properly raised.
They laughed out loud together. What is this mistreatment? What the heck is going on at this fine dining establishment? Suguru, my boyfriend, was the man who was being violent a minute ago. We've been dating for half a year now. We were in the same school club and hit it off. Suguru confessed to me, and that's how we became a couple. A calm, herbivore man. I couldn't help but say yes because he was cute as an alpaca. We were getting along just fine until now, or so I thought, but was it just me? My mind is now spinning. I'm so confused.
Hey, would you like to go out drinking with me and my friends? I really want to introduce you to them.
Sure, I'd love to. I can't wait to meet them. I was so happy and excited. Wow, he's gonna introduce me to his old friends. At least that's how I felt when I was invited a week ago. Just when I thought we were gonna have a good time, this happened. Plus, I wasn't the only one getting insulted and hit. His friends all treated their girlfriend in the same manner. Being referred to as bitch, fatty, and old hag, we were all taken aback by the unexpected bomb. The girls appeared to be dead on the inside. Of course, I did as well. What is this, some kind of world taunting tournament? I mean, I did feel like I got hit with a special beam cannon. I'm a total jerk, but I'm still adored. Wow, I'm so cool. It looked as if he was performing a sick, twisted fantasy presentation. I don't even remember what I drank or ate after that. I think I lost my memories from the shock. When I got home, I realized I had rashes all over my body. Hello?
Mari!
So, care to explain yourself? What was that today?
Sorry, I truly am.
I imagined Suguru, my alpaca boyfriend, kneeling on the ground pleading for my forgiveness.
It's because I'm afraid I'll lose face if I don't act like that in front of the guys.
Huh? Men's friendship is difficult to maintain. Like hell it is. But I'll always be your dog when we're alone together. Please forgive me. I was immediately turned off. I just wanted to date Suguru normally. I don't want a slave. I'm sorry, but I can't do this anymore. Let's break up. I broke up with my alpaca boyfriend, Suguru. I blocked him online as well. Suguru, on the other hand, refused to give up and began stalking me. They say guys like him are stubborn when it comes to breakups, but to think it was true. Thinking there's no way one would abandon such a useful pet, Suguru would visit my home, university, school club, and part-time job. He even sent me letters every day. I was so done when his friends from the drinking party started showing up too.
Hurting Suguru's heart like that. Getting worked up over something so small. You're so petty. I bet you was seeing another man while she was with him. Fucking bitch.
This had to be going on for a while now, to the point where it started to take a toll on me. Then one day, I received an unusual line. It was from one of the girlfriends from Suguru's friend group. I was getting tired of his friends' harassment and stalking. Could this be a trap? I hesitated for a split second before calling back. I got tired of their moral harassment drinking party, so I broke up with my boyfriend. The other girls are saying they're going to break up with their boyfriend as well. Do you want to band together? I instantly agreed, and so we formed a victims meeting and decided to pull the curtains on this nonsense. It turned out that one of Suguru's friends, Kakeru, who didn't have a girlfriend, was having a birthday party next month, so we decided to carry out our plan on that day. The reservation for the fancy restaurant was made by Miyu-san, the lady who contacted me. Normally, one of the boys would do it, reserving a table in the back of their world taunting tournament. This time, however, we reserved a seat in the center of the restaurant, where everyone could see us. Because we were seated in the center, the boys weren't behaving like they normally did.
Hey, what's the deal, guys? Isn't it time we set these girls straight?
He boasted, but no one said anything.
You see, women are just a bunch of...
Kakeru attempted to yank Miyu-san's hair. Miyu-san stood up without hesitation.
Don't touch me! What on earth do you think you're doing?
She yelled angrily, drawing everyone's attention in the restaurant. And as for Kakeru, his face was flushed.
I didn't do anything!
He said, looking down at the floor. The other girls took the moment to chime in as well. We're done humoring you guys. Don't ever contact us again! I don't want to see your face ever again!
If you ever call us again, I'll swear I'll call the cops.
Watching the action from the back table, I also decided to join in. Drop dead! We then paid our bills and left the scene. Everyone in the restaurant seemed to be staring at the Suguru group, but I couldn't care less. Good job, everyone! The four of us victims decided to throw our own drinking party. We talked about Kakeru, who always came to the party even though he was the only one who was single. As a group, we concluded that he's most likely a woman hater and the Suguru group's final boss. He must have wanted to strengthen his friendships by making the girls the common enemy. Since Suguru and the boys decided to continue stalking us, we immediately reported them to the police. Around this time, the stalking behavior became more severe, so various crimes were added, resulting in a criminal record. After all that warning. That's what they get for underestimating us. I'm Izumi. I'm in my late 20s. I'm single. Am I gonna be alone for the rest of my life? I want to get married and have kids. All my friends were getting married. I was starting to feel lonely and left behind. Koji is so adorable. I really want to get married. One day, I was talking to my friend from college, Keiko. Koji was her 3-year-old son. She always sent me his picture. He was adorable. We always talked about him, but...
Yeah, anyways, last week
For some reason, she changed the subject that day. Did I say something to upset her? Then she stopped calling me. I was kinda worried. But then, a few days later, she called me again.
Sorry to bother you like this, but I really need your help.
I had the day off, so I said, Sure, anything. What do you need? I was worried about you, I said to her.
Koji, he got sick. He's in the hospital right now.
What? I didn't know what to say to her.
I've been with him this whole time and I haven't eaten anything in days. Could you bring me some food?
She sounded weak. She really needed my help. Of course, I'll bring you some food right away. Which hospital? I had some rice in the fridge, so I made some rice balls and headed towards the hospital. The hospital was a 10-minute drive from my place. I got my stuff, called a cab, and headed over there. When I got there, I bought some tea. Tea was probably enough. I thought it was just Keiko and Koji. But then, when I walked in... Keiko! Sorry I'm late.
You're not the nurse. Who are you? What do you want?
I know her. That's Keiko's friend, Izumi.
I was expecting to see Keiko and Koji, but Keiko's husband, Satoru, was there. The old lady was probably his mother. Keiko was sitting next to the bed. She looked exhausted. Her eyes were all red. Looks like she was crying. Keiko, how is he?
He's hanging in there.
But then, her mother-in-law said to me,
What are you doing here? You got something for us?
Oh, right. I took out the food. I also brought some money. It wasn't much, but I wanted to help, so... But then, when I tried to hand it to Keiko... Her mother-in-law took it from me. I didn't even know what to say.
That's it? You're so cheap. What's wrong with you?
Seriously?
So again, what are you doing here?
Satoru said to me. I don't think I was welcome here. Keiko told me Koji was sick, so I brought her some food and drinks. I handed her food I made. Her mother-in-law kept her hands to herself this time. Then the nurse walked in. I was kind of relieved, but then...
Give me that! I'm starving!
Satoru grabbed the food out of Keiko's hands and started eating. Then his mother said to me,
That's it? How cheap are you? You're useless. No wonder you're friends with Keiko. She can't even give birth to a healthy child.
Was she being serious? The nurse was standing right next to her, but she didn't even care.
What kind of mother are you, huh? I don't want a sick grandson.
I couldn't believe what she was saying. Then,
Hey, you single? Nurses make a lot of money, right?
she said to the nurse.
Hey, Satoru, why don't you marry her instead? Keiko is useless. She can't even give birth to a healthy child,
She said to Satoru.
That's not a bad idea. I love nurses.
Yeah, and she's much younger than Keiko. She's useless. Dump her ass.
Keiko looked upset. Then she started crying. How could she say that to her? She's a terrible person. I had to say something to her, but then...
Keiko, right? Don't cry. It's gonna be okay. You got a really nice friend here,
the nurse said to her, putting her hand on her shoulder. Then she looked at her mother-in-law and said,
Did you know the number of lonely deaths has been on the rise over the years, and it usually happens to people like you? You really think this kind of behavior is acceptable? If you don't stop this, everyone's gonna leave you, and you're gonna die a lonely death.
She wasn't expecting this, but then...
But, if you marry my son, I'll be set. Problem solved.
She wasn't even making sense anymore.
Are you okay? You might have dementia. You should go see a doctor.
She snapped at her. That shut her up.
You're a great mother. Don't ever doubt that. I'm gonna ask your husband and his mother to leave now. You just get some rest, okay?
Then the nurse called for some backup.
Where's your visitor's pass? And you gotta wear a mask. You two can't be in here. Leave, now.
But...
The male nurse kicked them out. Phew. After Koji got better, Keiko divorced Satoru. And turns out he didn't even have a job. He quit a few months ago, saying it wasn't for me. Keiko was the one providing for him. His mother-in-law tried to fight the divorce. She was probably scared about what that nurse told her about dying alone. But her husband put a stop to that. Her husband was abroad at the time. But when his wife told him about the divorce, he came home for a few days, but then...
Why did you tell me about Koji? And he got sick because of you! You left him out of the rain!
When he found out about Koji, he got furious with her.
Koji got his looks from me, and I don't think she liked that. She was always really mean to him. She was really abusive to both of us.
I see. Oh, and Keiko recorded her mother-in-law every time she was abusive to her. She had more than enough evidence against them. Her husband sold their house to pay for damages. So now they were out on the streets. He sent his son to go work at a farm his friend owned, and he took his wife with him abroad. So now she was all alone in some foreign country. Sucks for her. I'm just glad they're out of her life. A few months later, I'm glad I bought this place. I might be single for the rest of my life, but oh well.
Izumi, thank you so much for letting us stay here. We're gonna get our own place soon.
Don't worry about it. You can stay here for as long as you like. Keiko and Koji moved in with me after that. She paid me rent and I really enjoyed having them around, so I didn't mind at all. See you later. And Koji was feeling much better now. I'm just glad everything worked out for them. Thank goodness. I'm Tomomi. I married my husband Satoru 3 years ago. We both love kids, so we were trying to have a baby, but it was taking longer than expected.
There's no need to rush.
But then one day, I finally got pregnant. I was so excited. I called my husband as soon as I got home, but then something happened. I was waiting for my husband to come home. I made a little too much. Couldn't help it. I was so excited. But my husband was running late. Maybe he's working overtime. Where is he? He said he'd be home as soon as possible, but it was past 8 already. Weird. He always called ahead when he was gonna be late, and his phone was turned off. I was starting to get worried, so I called his office. Hello? My husband isn't home yet. Is he still at the office?
What? Nobody told you?
Huh?
He's been rushed to the hospital!
What? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My husband fell down some stairs and got sent to the hospital. His boss apologized to me over and over again. He thought someone else had already called me. I hung up, got my stuff, and headed to the hospital. Oh no, please be okay. I prayed. I ran as fast as I could. I was so worried. When I got there, he was awake. Looks like he just woke up. You okay?
Yeah.
Thank goodness you're alive.
Of course I'm alive!
You scared me. I was so relieved I decided to call his parents.
You don't have to call them!
But they must be worried sick.
You're overreacting!
What? No, I'm not. I was worried sick about you. He seemed fine. But then he started looking around the room. What is it?
Nothing. It's just that I feel like I'm forgetting something important.
Huh? It looks like he was suffering from memory loss. He didn't remember anything about me getting pregnant. The next day, they ran some more tests on him. Then his memory started coming back to him. A few days later, he was finally allowed to go home. But even after he got home, he took some days off from work just in case.
What do I tell them? I feel so stupid.
Just tell them you were thinking about something else and fell.
Yeah. You think I could get workers' comp for this?
I don't think so. You just fell, so...
Yeah.
What were you thinking about anyways?
Well, when you told me about the baby, I was really happy and... yeah, I wasn't paying attention to my surroundings.
Idiot. A few days later, he called his boss.
I'm just glad you're okay. Congrats on the baby. Thank you. Just get some rest, okay? Take care.
Phew, he's got such a nice boss.
He said I can take the rest of the week off.
He said with a big smile on his face. But it's the busy season, right? We should get something nice for your colleagues and your boss.
Huh? What do you mean?
For all the trouble you caused.
Oh, right.
Sometimes my husband worried me.
Hey there, baby. It's Daddy.
He spent most of his time talking to the baby.
Your stomach is really flat, though.
I'm only 3 months pregnant, so...
Oh, okay.
A week later, he went to the hospital for a checkup. There was nothing wrong with his head. Phew. So he went back to the office. They all made fun of him for being clumsy.
I gotta be more careful from now on.
Then, a few months later, I gave birth to a beautiful boy. On our way to the hospital, my husband was flipping out. He started hyperventilating in the cab. And when the baby was about to come out, he was lying in bed.
Sir, the baby will be coming out shortly. You sure you want to stay there?
Yeah, I'll watch from here.
His mom came to the hospital too. She didn't even know what to say to him.
You're not the one giving birth here. Snap out of it.
I know. I'm sorry.
It was kind of funny, though. He was a really good father. He was a bit clumsy, but I was glad I married him.
He kind of looks like me, don't you think?
Yeah. That's like the 100th time he asked me that this week. Was he okay? Maybe he was still suffering from memory loss. I was a bit worried. But when I talked to his mom about it...
No worries, he's been like this ever since he was a kid.
2 years later, I got pregnant again. But I didn't call my husband at work. I don't want him to get rushed to the hospital again, so I'll tell him when he's home. Then, a few hours later, hey, I gotta tell you something.
What? Why do you look so mad? Wait, you want a divorce?
He started to panic. Divorce? Why would I want a divorce? Did you do something bad? He started thinking.
No?
Don't worry, it's good news.
Oh, okay. What is it?
Here, sit down. He took a seat. I made sure there weren't any heavy objects around him, just in case. My son came over and sat on his lap. I'm pregnant again! He froze for a second, then he smiled.
Yes! Yes! Oh, thank you!
He started yelling, which scared my son. He accidentally punched my husband in the face. He started bleeding out of his nose. Ugh, not again. He's probably gonna pass out in the delivery room again. Oh well. Our neighbor Keichiko-san has a habit of saying, let me have that, and my grandmother, who lives with me, would always indulge her. However, she'd never give away her own things. She would give away my mother's belongings without my mother's permission. She has also given my things away twice. Here you go. So far, she's taken my mother's bag, face lotion, Dior eyeshadow, prayer beads, fountain pens, cashmere scarves, and wristwatches. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you didn't need it anymore, so I gave it away. Of course, I lock my room to keep my belongings safe, but a little nagging from my grandmother, my father, lets her inside. I can't even count how many times she's given away our food. While my mother is at work, grandmother would answer the door for delivery and then hand the package to someone else. Look away for a split second, and only 1/3 of the food we spent hours to cook would be left. Enough is enough!
This dinner was for us!
When my mother and I scolded her, she would weep in order to gain my father's sympathy.
That's no way to treat an elderly!
I didn't mean any harm.
You should consider her feelings a little more.
My mother and I have endured this situation for a long time. If this continues for years, it will become extremely stressful. Knowing there is a thief in our own home makes me so anxious.
What do we do?
At the time, we didn't have the guts to run away, and so we got used to living this way. But everything changed on that one fateful day. The moment we realized that gyoza we worked so hard to make was gone, we lost the ability to care anymore. Beer and gyoza, beer and gyoza? What the?
I guess that's it.
Yup, I'm done. We packed our things and left the house before father came home. Because it was winter break, the next day I decided to spend time with my maternal grandparents. My mother contacted her employer and was able to arrange for her to move into the company dorm the following month. I'm not sure why we didn't do this sooner, or why the gyoza was the final straw. But well, handmade gyoza is really delicious. Besides, we had our one joy, gyoza, taken away from us after coming home from work and working so hard to make it. That feeling of despair, it was no surprise we exploded. I had a great time in my grandparents' house. It was New Year's Day, so I got an ostostima, New Year's money, and spent time with my cousins, whom I hadn't seen in a long time. I got a confusing message from my father. Apparently, he believes I was adopted by my mother and her parents.
Are you alright? I'll be sure to take custody of you.
What the heck is he going on about?
To think she would kidnap you. Hurry and come home!
At first, I ignored my father's messages, but then he began sending abusive messages.
Stop fooling around and come home! Like mother, like daughter, you stupid child!
He got on my nerves, so I decided to fight back as well. I'm glad I got to meet my maternal grandparents. I don't have to worry about my things getting stolen. Plus, they're really nice. I've never seen them badmouth anyone. You poor things. You guys have no idea what a happy family is like because you guys are such jerks, constantly slandering mom. But don't get wrapped up with your pitiful existence. After that last message, he stopped texting me. Winter break came to an end, and I moved into my mother's dorm room. One day, as I was leaving school, I was met by my father, who was waiting for me at the gate. I frantically called my mother. She was still working, so my mother's friend came to pick me up instead. My father confronted us as we tried to make our way through the gate.
I want to talk.
I'll hear what you have to say, but not without Auntie.
What? Why should I have to have an outsider?
A good parent should respect their daughter. Come now, we can discuss matters at a family restaurant.
My mom's friend took charge and protected me all the way. My father began to speak, glancing at Auntie occasionally.
So how are you?
I'm doing better than ever, as you can see. I even gained 2 kilos. I was extremely thin as a result of a certain someone stealing all the food in my house. In the house. Don't you recall? That's right. My father and grandmother would eat a hearty meal, leaving us to eat what little leftovers were left.
I've realized how much I rely on you. Please come back. I'll die at this rate.
No way. Living with you guys will put me in an early grave.
I'll buy you that Sylvanian Families toy you've always wanted.
That's from like when I was in 3rd grade. The fact that you only remembered that is just... no thanks. Why don't you get back all the items grandmother gave away instead?
Ugh, so annoying.
Father clicked his tongue.
That attitude towards a child. Unbelievable. Guess you are finally showing your true colors. I'm going to tell everyone about this. Now, if you'll excuse us.
My mother's friend runs a piano cram school and has a great influence on the neighborhood. Knowing this, my dad panicked, but Auntie paid him no mind. And so we left the restaurant. Father was able to endure living with grandmother for 4 months, but it seems he couldn't take it anymore when Keiichiko-san and her son started to come over and drink all of his whiskey. Grandmother tried her best to restrain herself at first, but it appears she couldn't control her urges. And so she started giving away Father's things without hesitation as well. I'll never understand how that mind of hers works, stealing from others to please another. Turns out Mom received a message from Father on the 5th month.
It's not too late. Could you please take me back? To be unable to enjoy the sight of this beautiful moon with you. I realized how stupid and foolish I was in the past. I've lost sight of what's really important to me.
Ugh, cringe. Of course, my mother didn't reply back like Juliet.
I guess I wasn't even considered a member of the family until now, huh?
I also responded, even if Mom were to forgive you, there's no way in hell I will. I don't ever want to live with you and grandmother again. I don't need a family of bandits.
You'll regret this! Don't come crying to me when you do!
My father's reply made me sigh at how pathetic he is. To top it all off, he refused to sign the divorce papers and gave us such a hard time even with a mediator. Just how pitiful can this man be? By the time they finally got a divorce, I was already a sophomore in high school. Furthermore, I heard a rumor that Keiichiko-san was moving. That's when it hit me. If you really think about it, you could say it was her fault my parents got a divorce in the first place. Strangely enough, I had no grudges against her. That being said, of course I don't ever want to get involved with her. If anything, I'm glad that my parents got divorced. I learned a valuable lesson, and I've decided that I definitely don't want to marry a man like him. I have a boyfriend now, but he is nothing like my father. His mother was a kind and cheerful person with common sense too. Of course, we are far from getting married. But I've decided to look at this as a great life lesson and live positively.
So, this is something that happened to me the other day. I live with my wife and my 5-year-old daughter. My wife and I have been married for about 8 years now. Life was good. Hey, can I hop in the bathtub first?
Sure, go ahead.
I want to come with.
Huh? Fine, come on. I had a loving family, but there was one thing on my mind. You have fun?
Yeah.
Good.
Looks like she had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
What's the matter?
I want a DNA test.
What?
I don't want to say this, but she looks nothing like me, or anyone from my family. I'm not accusing you of anything. Maybe there was a mix-up at the hospital or something. Who knows?
Fine, if you say so.
Really? Alright. Waiting for the results to come back was a nightmare. What if she's not mine? Who's her real father? What if there was a mix-up at the hospital? All kinds of thoughts raced through my mind. The results came back. It's a 99.9% match. Oh, that's great! Thanks, Doc. You hear that?
Yeah.
Hey, Daddy!
Hey there! It was such a relief. I was so happy. I haven't felt this good in a while. After that, I tried to spend more time with my family. I'm home! But then, one day, When I got home, my wife was gone. The house was empty. At first I thought she was playing a prank on me or something. I looked everywhere. But all her stuff was gone too. Maybe someone kidnapped her. So I called her parents. Hello? Is she there?
Yeah.
Oh, thank goodness. I thought something happened to her. Hello? Hello? But then my mother-in-law just hung up on me. I called her back, but she didn't pick up after that. I panicked. Why is she doing this? I can't think of anything. If I did something to upset her, she'd tell me. Wait, maybe it has something to do with my daughter. I couldn't sleep that night. The next morning, I got a call from my wife. Hey, what's going on? Come home and tell me!
I want a divorce. If you grant me this divorce, I won't sue you for damages, and you can keep all your money.
What? For what? Stop being ridiculous. Explain yourself. Let me guess. It was the DNA test, wasn't it? She's not my real daughter, is she? What did you do? Did you pay the doctor off?
You're unbelievable. Fine, you want to know why? Not sure if you remember this, but when I was pregnant with our daughter...
All right, I'm off.
Have a good day. Say bye to Daddy, baby. Life was good, but then I got a call. Hello?
Hello, is Yasunori there?
No?
Wait, are you his wife?
Yeah?
When are you gonna get a divorce? I've been waiting for years.
What? What do you mean?
Stop playing dumb with me.
So my husband was cheating on me. His mistress called me a few times after that. I recorded everything. Thought it might come in handy someday. But then, after I had my daughter, his mistress stopped calling me. You still seeing her?
What? No! She means nothing to me. I was an idiot back then. I'm clean now. I'm really sorry. I apologize. Please, give me another chance.
That's not all, though.
Huh?
He was the one cheating on me, but...
I don't want to say this, but she looks nothing like me. Or anyone from my family. I'm not accusing you of anything. Maybe there was a mix-up at the hospital or something. Who knows?
Ugh.
He had the audacity to get a DNA test.
You're so adorable. What a relief. Phew.
Yeah.
Look at her. She's so cute. Aww.
Daddy, stop it!
Oh, come on.
What do you think, Mom? He didn't even apologize to you, and your daughter looks exactly like his mother. What on earth is he talking about? I know, right?
What's wrong with this guy? I'm gonna go talk to him.
Hey, settle down. Dad, it's okay, really.
He can't treat you like this.
Leave him. You deserve better, honey. Thanks, Mom. And now you're saying I pay the doctor off. You're a terrible person.
I didn't mean it like that. I was just...
Oh, and this is all recorded, so I'll see you in court.
What? Hey, no, wait. Hello? Hello? A few months later, the divorce was finalized. I had to pay her tens of thousands of dollars in damages and child support. I'm barely making ends meet now. But you're all I got left. Come back to me. My wife is gone, so we can get married.
You're terrible. I'm happily married now, so get out of here.
No! My wife got remarried 2 years later. I was still single and miserable. I'm such an idiot.
My name is Keiko. Currently, my husband and I live together, just the two of us. His name is Yukio, and he's a regular salaryman. His father passed away last year, and his mother lives in their large house alone. One day, Yukio came to me with a proposal.
Can we live with my mother?
Sure, why not?
Are you sure?
No problem. Honestly, I was a little worried about her too. My mother-in-law's a great person, and she has always taken good care of us. So, I really didn't mind living together with her.
Thank you.
We called her straight away with our proposal. However, we were met with an immediate no. Your mother wants to live alone.
Oh, really?
Do you think she's okay, all alone in such a big house?
I'll go check on her more frequently.
You wouldn't mind? And just like that, I began visiting my mother-in-law's house. Eventually, I ran into my brother-in-law's wife. Apparently, they had the same concerns, and she was checking in too. Yukio has one sibling, his brother, and it was his brother's wife. She's in the same position as me. When I asked her, it turns out that Yukio's brother was also worried about their mother, and she said she was visiting frequently to make sure everything was okay. To save a visit, we went in to see her mother-in-law together. Yukio's brother has a child, and she seemed really happy to spend time with her grandchild. My mother-in-law is a truly kind person. Cooking is her strong suit, and she often invites her families over for her home-cooked meals. Of course, when both of her sons' families get together, it involves a lot of cooking, and since it's a lot of work, my sister-in-law and I try to help. I'll help.
There's no need. I cook because I love doing it, so don't take my fun away from me,
she says with a big smile on her face.
I'm always only cooking for one, so it's fun when I get to cook for more people.
When she says that, there's not much we can do about it.
Besides cooking, is there anything else we can help with?
Laundry, cleaning, we try to do whatever other household chores we could help with. Usually when I go to her house alone, I have my mother-in-law teach me her amazing recipes.
The herbs are the key ingredient here. FYI, these herbs are the ones they sell in big batches for 100 yen at the supermarket.
Oh wow, you can get them for that cheap?
There are so many things you can get for cheap.
Wow, I didn't know.
I learned so much from every recipe she teaches me. At home, I cook those dishes for Yukio as practice. Whenever I see a cookbook that I think my mother-in-law might enjoy, I try to gift it to her.
Oh, I really wanted this one. Thank you.
She always seems so happy, which makes me happy. In a world where so many brides have issues with their mother-in-law, I got really lucky. During the Onbon holiday, all of our families decided to get together. To prepare the big feast for everyone, my mother-in-law had brought tons of ingredients and was laying them out. As usual, my brother-in-law's wife and I started helping out with other chores around the house. As I was doing laundry, Yukio came over with a scary face.
Hey!
What's the matter? Why the scary face?
I can't stand this anymore!
Huh?
Why don't you ever help my mom?
I was so stunned by Yukio's sudden anger that I didn't know how to react. I'm helping with the laundry.
Why? Not that! Help her with the cooking!
What?
Go help with the cooking! And at least learn the tastes of your mother-in-law!
What do you mean? I'm always learning her recipes from her, and I make them for you all the time. And you know that your mother's the one who says she doesn't want any help.
And yet you seriously let her do it all herself? What are you thinking? My mom is just trying to be nice!
No, trust me. Your mom loves to cook, and she insisted that she wants to do it alone.
You don't get it!
You're the one that doesn't understand. From across the room, I heard another loud voice yelling. Looks like Yukio's brother was upset about the same thing. What is wrong with these brothers?
Enough is enough! Read the room, Keiko!
You're the one who can't read the room. Neither brother bothers to check in on their mother themselves, and they leave it all up to their wives, and yet they have the nerve to complain to us for not helping? But I held my tongue and continued with the laundry.
Are you even listening to me?
Then why don't you guys help her?
What?
Dinner's ready. Keiko, Mayumi, Yu-chan, come on over.
At that moment, we heard my mother-in-law call us all over for dinner. The conversation with my husband took a halt, and we replied loudly, "Dinner!" "Yes, coming." But under his breath, my husband muttered,
What a shameless brat.
"Shameless?" I was irritated by his small words, but I headed towards the dinner table. When we got into the dining room, a huge feast awaited us. There were 4 seat cushions, with my mother-in-law sitting in one.
Come on, let's eat before it gets cold.
She always puts enough seat cushions for everyone. I wonder what's wrong. My sister-in-law felt the same uneasiness about the number of seat cushions. We figured she forgot one and started looking for an extra cushion. As we were looking for another seat cushion, like a child, I saw Yukio jump into his seat, followed immediately by his brother.
Yum! Fried chicken tonight, and potato salad. Mom's potato salad is my favorite.
As the 2 men tried to dive into their meal,
Excuse me, what are you two doing?
my mother-in-law coldly cut in.
What do you mean? It's dinner, isn't it?
There isn't anything for you two to eat.
Huh? Mom, what are you saying?
Move, get off the seat cushions, you 2 idiots.
Doing as they're told, Yukio and his brother moved from their seats.
There, Keiko, Mayumi, please sit down. There's plenty of Yu-chan's favorite sausages too.
Wait, Mom?
We were confused, but my sister-in-law and I did as we were told and sat down. Our husbands stood by in disbelief and confusion.
The fact that you two don't even understand what your mother is trying to say. I have nothing to give to men who make their wives do all the hard work for them.
Eh? What do you mean?
How many times do I have to tell you that I enjoyed doing the cooking alone?
You mean you're not just saying that to be nice?
I'm not just trying to be nice. What I need help with in this huge house is cleaning and doing the laundry, all of which your two wives have been helping me with.
But Mom, we just want you to take it easy. That's our way of showing you we care.
Showing me you care? All you do is come here on your days off to have a meal.
A perfectly valid argument.
If you think that showing me your care is by taking away what I enjoy doing, then I need to reteach you boys. At least become men who are worthy of being called adults, especially when my Yumi is so busy also raising a child. What are you going to do when you have a child?
I'm sorry.
After that, our husbands came to apologize with their tails between their legs. With their mother's permission, they were finally allowed to join dinner. More than anything, I was so happy to see that my mother-in-law appreciated her help.
Yukun, what do you want to eat next?
Hamburg, omurice, curry also.
Alright. After dinner, it went without saying that the pile of plates and pots was left to the husbands to wash up. Due to some personal reasons, I'm currently living in a family-style condominium with another young woman. Since it's a large apartment complex, we often run into our neighbors, some of them even saying,
There have been rumors that two wealthy sisters had their rich dad buy them an apartment. I'm so sorry.
But that's not the case at all. There was a woman living on the floor below us around the same age as me, who I'd become friendly with. Whenever I bake or make sweets, I would always share some with her. I baked some cookies. Would you like to have tea with me and eat them?
Oh, how nice! I couldn't possibly say no to that.
From stories about world news to my own personal life, she knew almost everything about me. I really trusted her and opened myself up to her. Everything seemed great until suddenly one day the intercom rang. I went to answer and saw an older woman I had never seen before on the screen. Yes, who is it?
I'm the mother-in-law, the woman living downstairs.
I opened the door, and supposedly this older lady's the mother-in-law of my downstairs neighbor. What's this about? Next to the mother-in-law was a man who I believed to be my neighbor's husband. I figured I could at least speak to them by the door and see what was going on. Hi, yes, how can I help you?
Oh, there's no need to be so nervous. We're going to become family now after all. Relax.
Huh? The supposed husband was just standing there grinning. I could tell I was about to get roped into something bad and felt an air of discomfort around me.
You see, I thought we could do you a favor and take you in as my son's new wife.
What? For a moment, I really didn't understand. She just said something crazier than what I could have expected.
His current wife is a sterile woman, so we're planning on kicking her out. So we've decided that once you two get married, you can live in this apartment together.
I'm sorry, I'm really not following.
And then we're going to kick out that woman from the downstairs apartment. And we're going to make that room ours.
Excuse me? Is there anyone who can save my bulging eyes from this absurd situation? I truly don't understand anything that this woman is saying. So basically, they think the woman downstairs is no longer needed, and they want me to take her place? This is useless. The more I try to understand the situation, the more crazy it sounds.
With the settlement money we get from his current wife, we're going to buy the apartment next door to this one. And then we'll have my second son live there. I mean, he supposedly has a girlfriend already. But apparently that girlfriend is quite poor. I'm gonna get them to break up quickly and have him marry your younger sister. What do you think? Isn't that beautiful? Huh!
The mother-in-law, casually saying such horrific things.
So, you need to introduce me to your younger sister, and then everything will fall perfectly into place.
The mother-in-law was proudly continuing to make such statements, and then the husband, who was silently agreeing to everything she said, suddenly started to speak.
I heard from my wife that those parents of yours who sometimes visit your apartment are in charge of some big company. I'll work there, and eventually I'll take after the company for you, so you should be grateful.
They say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and this man was continuing on his mother's ridiculous rant.
Also, I won't make my own father work, but I'll let you borrow his name so you can collect a salary and bonus to pay us. Well, I guess around 10 million yen per year should be enough.
I was at a complete loss for words. I was so shocked I felt like my eyes had already fallen out of my head. What are they even saying, these crazies? I couldn't help but laugh, which turned to hysterical laughter. They were disturbed, but I didn't care at all. The friendly neighbor was probably trying to change the details of my story out of kindness, since it's other people's business, but I've had enough. Me? I'm a married woman. That man that sometimes comes to visit the apartment isn't my father. He's my husband. He just lives in the city closer to his job. We aren't at all separated, nor living separately because we don't get along. Huh?
Huh?
By the way, the younger sister you're thinking of, that's our daughter. What?
What?
As for the reason she and I live here, my daughter has asthma, so we wanted to live in the suburbs where the air is cleaner. That's the only reason our family's living like this, but I never could have imagined that it would be mistaken like this. To be fair, normally you wouldn't bother poking your nose into your neighbor's business or try to intrude on someone else's personal life. Fine, then I guess we'll just take your daughter for you then. My daughter is in 7th grade. Do you want to make your son a criminal? Yep. The girl that the neighbors all thought was my sister is in fact my middle school daughter. Like a lot of kids these days, she's grown up fast, and since her school doesn't have uniforms, maybe she looked like a college student to some. Upon hearing the truth, the mother-in-law and husband's face were turning red and blue. They're so easy to read, these two. Well, don't you think your husband is far too old for you? Oh, please. You know my husband is 42? I have a baby face, so maybe from afar I look quite young, but if you look closely, I sure have wrinkles and I'm quite age-appropriate. And what about you? How old are you?
I'm 26.
You're 9 years younger than me and look like that? Not aging well, that's for sure. In that case, I am your elder, and in any case, I love my husband and my daughter, so please go home now. Now that I'd gotten the truth out, the two went home swiftly, but I had to tell my downstairs neighbor. What? I'm so sorry! She apologized profusely to me, but the fact that she didn't spill my family situation, not even to her own family, made me realize she was someone I could really trust. So in that moment, I told her one more thing about that I hadn't revealed before. Actually, since the whole situation felt fishy from the start, I was recording everything from the very beginning. Huh? If you want a divorce, I can introduce you to a lawyer, I said, to which she immediately replied, Yes, of course, please! After that, I heard from her that her husband was in fact already having an affair. What an absolute piece of crap husband. I seriously can't believe this! I knew something was wrong, but there wasn't anything I could do about it on my own. Plus, my mother-in-law was terrifying. Because of all of that, my marriage was a mess and I was so unhappy. But she couldn't quite catch him in the act and was trying to figure out how to get evidence against him. So she was extremely grateful to me. Seriously, thank you so much! I can finally get the divorce I've been dreaming of! And I'll show him and swear I'll get remarried! You got this. Good luck. Thank you! I'll do my best! I could see the flames burning in her eyes. Wouldn't my husband know a good lawyer, I thought, and asked him to introduce one to us. He ended up introducing a top-rated, top-skilled lawyer.
They tried to draw in my own wife and daughter into an insane situation. I don't think we need to show any mercy.
I fell for him all over again. And since the lawyer was a friend of his as well, they even lowered the fees by half. So with the evidence and lawyer on our side, we took the video to the mother-in-law and husband. It was bomb after bomb, a full big bang. Apparently it was too easy to kick them both to the curb. The funniest part about all of this is that their apartment was under his wife's name. After talking all that big game, the apartment wasn't even yours, it was your wife's. Even if it all had gone according to the mother-in-law's plan, that means they wouldn't have been able to live in that apartment anyways, since it wasn't even theirs. And now the neighbor is fully enjoying her single life. Thank you so much! The single life is amazing! I'm so glad, truly. Yes, if you'd be interested. Would you like to have a party sometime, the three of us with your daughter? Now I can have you over whenever, regardless of the time. I could tell just from looking at her that she's been spending her days in true happiness after the divorce. I mean, I can't even imagine how awful it must have been surrounded by that terrible husband and mother-in-law. Every time I see her and I see her beaming with smiles, I'm glad that I could have contributed even a small amount towards her happiness. The neighbor and I are still friends, and we made plans to go to lunch with my daughter next time too.
She said she'll let me borrow some of her manga next time.
Oh, how nice. The one you said you wanted before? My daughter also trusts her, and seeing them get along as well only adds to my happiness. From what it's worth, I heard that crap husband found a small apartment after the divorce and is living there with his family. Since being divorced and forced to pay a settlement fee, apparently they tried to scam their own family for the money and lost all of their trust. They're even having difficulty making rent now. But when I think back to what they had done, I can't feel sorry for them. Not one bit.
Thanks for watching! Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. Bye!